promise. I hope you can hear me. I'm promising softness. I have obviously been in the throes of deep contemplation lately. And I think everyone has been. And so, after much deliberation the past few hours whether or not I was going to stream, because part of me didn't quite feel like it, and the other part of me had said I would. Here we are. Upright, vertical. Just trying it out, Thanks for joining. The funny thing is, because I'm streaming from 2 different devices right now, I can play the ads. And it's not, I can't do the BRB screen, so I'm just going to be sitting here. So if you're a subscriber, you won't have to watch the ads. And if you're not, you should consider becoming one. If you have a Twitch account, if you have an Amazon Prime account, it's free. So, and that being said, I got all the ads, so 3 minutes, but I'll be here, so is it awkward? Italy, or I love you. Why was I saying Italy? It didn't make any sense. I might just take the chat off because the screen is gonna be annoying. Well, okay, last night I was reading and I got very disrupted, and honestly it may have been more of a language barrier than anything, but I got a little irritable, got irritated, and was like, yeah, no, fuck this. Fuck no, leave me alone. So I took the chat off, but this time maybe I'll just start without it. Yeah. Because I can see it right here anyways, so let's do it. Hide the chat. It's not off, I can still read all your messages, like I said, on the other screen. So don't feel like you can't chat with me just because it's not there. I think everybody else has the actual chat space though, right? So no problems. The ads are still rolling. I don't love streaming from the iPhone. But it's great because I'm on the road, so it's convenient. And it's a nice picture. I hope the sound is okay. Can y'all hear me? Or can y'all not see me because of the ads? Yeah. I'm very tired. I am very tired. I'm very tired. How did you know I'm so tired? So tired. Well, I'm just dilly-dallying until we get back on here, I guess. Drink some water, don't you forget. Okay. This is an advertisement for drinking water. Okay. This is a sponsored ad from God. Oh, good. I'm glad. I almost got the book wet. Oh no. Better watch where I drink. Better watch where I drink, huh? Honestly, I think the fuzz might be the air purification things and other sort of things. But it does dull the noise for our sleepers, so I'll probably leave them on. And we have 15 seconds. 15 seconds. 15 seconds till we have 10 seconds till we have a cat fight breaking out. And the start of the stream, welcome back if you had to watch this. Okay. I'm Millie, and I do tarot, yes, but I am not doing tarot tonight. I haven't been doing tarot on the stream for a while. If you are wondering why I look like this, it's because I've slept probably I would say about 10 hours in the past 3-4 days. I don't even know. I've been just go mode. I tend to come to realize that is that I don't get tired I have days of rest. So I exhaust the fuck out of other people because it's just nonstop, and most people need to stop. And if I'm really, really low on sleep or food or water or anything, I'll get tired for a second. Maybe I slept for 20 minutes earlier, and now I'm like, okay, well, I'm up, so I'm going to do the stream like I said I would, no matter how tired I am. It's not really mania vibes. It's like, I shouldn't say it's not that. It's like that, but it isn't, because it's cyclical for me, where when I get my menstrual cycle, I'm literally out for like at least 8 to 10 hours of sleep, and then I just don't really get up out of bed, really. Maybe like 14, 16, 18 hours I'm just laying around not doing anything. It's like my brain shuts down, my body shuts down. And then sometimes I'll stream, right? And there's been times on the stream where I'm like about to pass out, and then I just like drop some clots and I'm good to go. It's crazy to watch. So because that's so exhausting, yeah. Because it's so exhausting, it's like the rest of the month, I don't have the option of taking it off. I had to take 3, 5, 6 days off and rest the whole time. Sleep it off, because I literally can't think right. You know, it's like a fuzz in the mind, like brain frogs is what I call it. So what are you gonna do? Well, I'm just not gonna sleep the rest of the month, honestly, is what usually happens, and I don't mean to. But then I notice if I do sleep like a normal amount on the off days, I wake up tired. It's like, why am I waking up tired if I slept the appropriate amount? And then it's like, wait, that sounds like you're doing drugs. And it's like, no, it's no sleep. It's very similar effects. I mean, it can get pretty chaotic, yeah. I shouldn't say similar effects. Drugs are drugs. But not sleeping, it can make you a little delirious. It can make you a little self-conscious or even paranoid, you know. But I know the throes of it now. I kind of have a good rhythm for myself, so I kind of know when I'm like, all right, those are tired thoughts, or you're hungry, you need to eat. And it's almost like my mind works better with a little lack of sleep for my creative side, for my efficiency. It's really bizarre. But like I said, if I sleep 8 hours when I'm not in the menstrual phase, then I'm tired the whole day. I wake up tired, I go to bed tired, I'm just tired. But if I get, I don't know, 1 to 5 hours of sleep, I wake up singing and screaming, like ready to go. So this is one of those weeks where like I haven't slept, and now it's super late. But I won't sleep unless I really truly exhaust myself, which you're probably thinking, how are you not exhausted? You told us you were running around for the past like 3 days. You slept for 2 hours today. You took a 20-minute nap, and you're just like still going. Yes, it's incredible. But it's because I have 3 to 5 full days of rest every month. So, I have a stack of books on my lap instead of tarot cards. Yeah, the whole plan last night, I finally finished this. I have the new pages, right? The last pages, new pages. And I was very excited to read it. Yeah, really. Very excited to read it. But then there was just this weird energy on the stream last night. And again, I think it low-key may have been a language barrier, but... And I left the streams up. I try not to delete anything, even if I don't react well to somebody or something that somebody says, or end a stream abruptly, or take long breaks, or even cry. There is a sense of humiliation that comes with that, and me wanting to knee-jerk reaction, like delete it or export it safely, privately, and then take it off the Twitch side. But I don't. I get that too. I go through phases. I've destroyed some stuff. Destroyed files, destroyed devices, destroyed accounts. Yeah, me too. So this is a big testimony to it. I archive some things, posts and stuff. Like I said, I try not to delete anything anymore because I've lost so much. But I also think I was moving through changes that I didn't realize. My body was doing things like get rid of these memories, get rid of this work, get rid of this, like the clean house. Because I wouldn't do it myself, you know. Either way, we have the final pages of the book, and I think it's cute. I think it's really good. I like it a lot. But I had some people on here last night. When I mentioned Ram Dass, they knew exactly what I was talking about, and they mentioned who he learned from and all this other stuff. So obviously they got the reference, right? And I said, yeah, I'm referencing this book, Be Here Now, Ram Dass. And this is my companion piece, my follow-up, Forever Always. So I was starting to read it, and this was last night, the first time it was going to be read in full now that the pages are done. Granted, this is just a first edition, handwritten copy, so I'm hoping there's certain things I might reread it and end up adding things to the blanker pages, but I don't want it to feel too cluttered. And then I also feel like there might be a bit of a longer version to some degree, or at least add some pictures or something if it ever does go to print. Or maybe I shouldn't speak like that, when it goes to print. It'll probably all get rewritten, some of the language changed, sure. So this is really just the first edition, first version. But it's complete. The lesson, the journey, the point, the understanding, the explanation. Because something I've been openly struggling with the past, like, I don't know if it's been a few days, a week, a few weeks. I personally think it's been since cancer season started. I think it's a great mile marker when y'all think of it in your own lives. Cancer season started around the 20th, right? Like June 21st. And for me, I would say shit started hitting the fan that week, but before. You know, like it was those last few days of Gemini season. Life got weird as hell. Through a bunch of... That's who threw the bullshit was Gemini season. Made that analogy last night. Some people's throwing confetti, some people's throwing bullshit, but everything hit the fan, so who's cleaning it up? Because now we got confetti and bullshit everywhere. Right. So I'm like, ooh, I'm notorious. Maybe I was throwing the bullshit. And it's like, I don't know. I'm pretty sure I was throwing confetti. I'm pretty sure I was throwing confetti. Could be wrong. Physically, last summer, yes, there was confetti. So, shit and confetti. So I referenced this. I was hoping to read this. I was very excited. And as I was reading the first few pages, these randos who'd never really been on my stream, but they were carrying on conversation with me, seemed cool, seemed to understand the reference, started calling it my diary. Hi, Wolfie. And it outright pissed me off. Because it was just one of those moments where it's like, I know how Lady Gaga felt. I know how Kim Gordon felt. I know how Cher felt. I know how Eartha Kitt felt. In that moment. Okay? Because, oh, you sing about having sex. Isn't that a little promiscuous for a woman, Lady Gaga? And she's like, you wouldn't fucking ask a man about that. Why are you asking me? Right? Kim Gordon, oh, what's it like to be a girl in a band? Oh, you're a mom now? Yeah, and he's a dad. They were co-parents in the same fucking band. But they never asked Thurston about the kid, right? So it's like, why are you asking me? Why are you not asking us? He's right there, you know? So for these randos to be like, oh, your diary? Would you call this Ram Dass's diary? Because this has way more personal information about his life than I put in mine. Yeah. Would you ever call this his diary? Would you call this a man's diary? Because the whole intro was all about his upbringing and his Jewish roots and his weird parents and his neurotic behavior and his time at Harvard. That sounds more like a diary than anything I wrote in this book. So let's be mindful about how sexist we are before we come back on my channel, because I've worked really hard to try to eradicate the toxic masculinity in me and recognize what it means to be toxic femininity as well. Okay? So chill. Be neutral. I do not like that. Because you would never ask a man these things. And that is where it's just like, oh my God, this is why I do what I do. Because these past few days, weeks, really, we established it was around the time Gemini was turning into Cancer season. These last few weeks have been really challenging. It seems like they've been challenging for everyone. It seems like a lot of people are getting on the same wavelength as others, but there's more than one wavelength, right? So some of us are on this one, some of them are on that one, some of them none, right? Some people just out of it. Some people like there are no waves. And it's like, well, there are science, X-rays, theta waves, sound waves. Sure, there's tons of waves. You don't have to believe in these kind of waves, but there are waves. There are frequencies, hertz, and everything, So there's an element of undeniable, and there is a tune-up of being very loud, right? And it feels like it won't turn off. It feels like it won't go away. And the whole thing about consciousness or connection, oneness, whatever you want to call it, is the ebb and flow. And as I've put it before, it's not that you tune Source out, it's that Source tunes you out. Source wants to use you as a vehicle to be a part of the greater conversation. And this greater conversation does involve everything and everyone, but not everyone knows that conversation's going on, even sometimes people who are a part of it. You might be really in your head, really in the thick of it, right? And you're walking around and you're sulking, you're contemplating, you're thinking. You're in a spiritual woes, you're having an existential crisis, you're sad about something, your dog died, who knows, right? Going about your day and you're like, I don't know which direction to go. God, just give me a fucking sign. Show me now, God, that I need something, right? Tell me, what is it that I'm missing? And a stranger walks up to you and says, have you ever had a sandwich with meat and lettuce and tomato on it that didn't taste like every other sandwich that had meat, lettuce, and tomato on it? Yeah, you should go to this deli where I got this sandwich. And you're like, a sign from God, I'm hungry. I need to go eat. Okay. Did that guy recommending the deli know that he was a part of that conversation? No. No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I think he just was thinking about that sandwich and he really wanted to tell somebody, this is a great sandwich. You should eat one. But the other person who was in the thick of it, who was in the throes, who was lost in the mind, lost to the thought, right? Desperate to connect, desperate to be one, had to hear, eat a sandwich. Hunger. Source, acting through both, did not get tuned out, but tuned itself out. The ebbs and flows, in and out, in and out, in and out. So when you start to think this way, right? When you start to think this way, you're like, everything starts to look really funky. And so you don't really want to think this way to some degree because it just makes everything look really odd. All of a sudden, everything's a metaphor. It's an inside joke. It's something you didn't understand. You look at it again and you're like, it was so obvious. I like to call them Mickeys, right? And what does that mean? It's like a Mickey Mouse, okay? Everybody's got their Mickey Mouse. Everybody's got their iconic, whether it's a cartoon character, an emblem, but their little omen, their little sign throughout life that they see and they know they're going in the right direction. Okay. For me, it might be, well, a lot of things will. I like to feel it out. I know when something's for me, but it's stuff like roses, maybe a lightning bolt or something, right? Where I'm like, okay, this is where I am on the right path. I am going that way. Okay, good. So everybody's got a Mickey. Everybody's got their Mickey Mouse. And when you connect with that thought of, oh, this is... And then you realize, oh shit, everybody has one. And then, oh shit, is that why these creators create them? these symbols, these emblems to represent who they are as artists, or to tell a story, or to be a character, right? Okay. Oh, gosh. So deep. Chill out. It's within 20 minutes. You didn't miss a thing. Haven't even started reading yet. Baby, it's okay. I wouldn't worry too much about being late. In fact, I've only ever been to work on time like twice in my life, and it was in the past 6 months. So if you're ever late coming to me, babe, just know that that's divine timing, because I ain't ever on time to anything. Ain't that a bitch? No, it's the truth. It's the truth. So, to continue. And the book of love is long and moving, and written very long ago. It's full of charts and facts and figures, and things we're all too young to know. But I love it when you read to me, and you can read me anything. So, arguably, love and consciousness are the same thing, right? Not everyone would agree with that, because some people think of love in this very 3D, boxed in, sort of, almost toxic sort of connections, right? Very physical, very rooted in our traditional senses of relationships and intimacy, going through proper protocols and certain steps to achieve what love is by the standards of other people's societies, whereas people like me, or maybe I hate that I always have to bring up Jesus and John Lennon at the same time when I'm talking about myself, because I'm not trying to put myself in the category as them, but rather see them as the leaders and teachers they are. Yes. So they both preached of love, and this was very different sort of loves, because Jesus preached of a love to God, and John Lennon preached of a love to everyone. Right? So if you were to take both those principles and sort of realize that they're the same thing, that loving God is loving everyone, and loving everyone is loving God, trippy, because then it's all one. So you're like, it's an echo of the halls. What is the point of it all? But really, you have to remember that no matter how tuned in you are at this moment, you will once again tune out. And you won't totally forget, because you'll understand your references, you'll see your Mickeys, and you'll hear your conversations, you'll know your people, but it retreats back in, and it doesn't seem so obvious, and all of a sudden you realize there is a point to all of this. There is some kind of fun and some kind of semblance in creating and expressing and showing ourselves, right? And that's why I don't think ultimately the goal should be to shed away every ounce of humanness that we have, because otherwise why not be incarnate as human if we weren't going to express it in human ways and celebrate it in human ways? Yes, absolutely. Okay, so is this book about consciousness? Yes. What is consciousness of true love? Absolutely. When you are open enough to see what God brings you, when you truly love life, and you love yourself, and you love what you've been given, you love the eyes you look through, you love despite the pain, you love despite the suffering, you love despite the flaws, you love in the face of adversity, you love in the face of challenge, you love in the face of change. You become a conscious being who chooses to love, and chooses love over all of the things in every moment. It's very easy to choose hate, very easy to choose anger, even quick with it. But choosing love is difficult because of all these 3D restrictions we have on what that means and how we have come to digest it. And it seems a bit silly, because why did we do it that way? Nobody knows. We're supposed to be on a plane, a frequency, okay? Not everybody's gonna jam. It wouldn't be a yin yang if there wasn't some hatred in us and opposing us. Yes? Because the greatest loves have the most hate, and the biggest hearts experience the most pain, right? Okay, so before we get too tired, what are we going to do here? Are we going to read the book? Are we going to read the book? Is she going to read the book? Because I have the last pages done. And it seems repetitive because I've started over so many times, but this is the last run for the first edition. Final first copy. I like it a lot. And of course I was reading, I've been taking notes. I just been carrying this one around and taking some notes. Today I didn't add much that I didn't read last night. Separating God and Lucifer as enemies is like separating the Gloria and the prison system. Who's in charge? That's very good. It's very good as me. I don't remember it. We've already read that one. I actually read a few excerpts from this one. I will not be reading out of this tonight because we left off on a yoga thing and I'm not doing it. And before we get to the book, I would like to play more ads. But we still have, almost 40 minutes until I have to play ads, so let me show you this. So today, I was having an adventure in another city, and I knew of this place that I like to go in the city, and they have good selection of things, but they got some used tarot cards. And I like getting my cards used. I really do. I really like getting my cards used. I have some new decks, and they're fine. I could still use them, of course. But something about used decks I do really like. And I immediately kind of know. I pick out all the ones that I like and put them aside. And then I look through those and see which ones are close that I like. And then I look through those and kind of feel them out. I set them all, compare them a little bit. And this deck I got had some drawbacks, because I was like, well, I'm traveling and this is very bulky, okay? It seems very difficult and very, very, very the opposite of straightforward, okay? And I thought it would be a great challenge, okay? And because they're Egyptian, they go with my Thoth deck. Love that. But there was another deck, another Egyptian deck that I was looking at. Okay, and when I looked at those cards, I thought, oh, these are powerful, but they're easy. They're straightforward. They're goddesses. They want you to get the message loud and clear. These, I don't want to say anything's above my caliber. But when I tell you, I think I will be reading the book. I never do that. I've tried and I've skimmed a lot of my little pamphlets or whatever, the books of the tarot cards that I get. Somebody eating Chinese food? If so, I'm so jealous. It seems like beef, some kind of Chinese beef, maybe peppers or something. But the Book of Doors, Divination deck, an Alchemiel Oracle from Ancient Egypt. Pretty friggin' cool. Yeah, this is just the boss. So I think I'm going to read the book because I look at the symbols and I look at the cards and it's like, wow, these I do not know. Crazy. I read through one. Look at the back is a beaut. Gorgeous. And I don't know what these mean, but there's definitely some transformations and journeys coming because we have the scarab. And the scarab represents the life and death in the universe. Transition from one to the next, to the next, to the next. And this river sticks through the walls and seeing all these creatures come out. Big changes. Came with the die too, but I don't know why yet. So, once again, very, very good. Very, very good. Very excited about that. Need to read it though, yeah. So, after this quick little catch up, little 30-minute sesh, very nice. I am going to play the ads. I'm going to come back I'm going to read the book. Look at these bags are forming under my eyes as I'm speaking. So after I read this, I'm going to go to sleep. So hopefully no interruptions and no rude people. I'm noticing at this part of my cycle where I'm a little self-conscious and I can be a bit irritable and I am not agitated, but like yes, I can be irritated, but not too much, or maybe a lot. It takes a lot. Where I'm like, no, I can't. I'm not so fed up, but it's like a too in my head, too much of the anxiety and stuff. So we shall be back in 3 minutes. Although I'll pretty much be right here. So just gonna sit back and relax for the 3 minutes of the ads. Still got 2 minutes of ads. Usage made at any cost, but how long then can you search for what's not lost? Everybody will help you discover what you set out to find. But if I could set you anytime, come on, give it to me. I'll keep it in mind. I kind of messed that up. I was singing the wrong bit of the chorus with that part of the verse. I think got 30 seconds until the end. Oh, funny faces. Okay. All right, we are back. We're back. Maybe we never left. Who knows? Yeah. No, I certainly sat here and made silly faces if you couldn't see them. I'm going to read this, and I'm so tired. And I contemplated not reading it for a long time tonight because last night I was like, yeah, I'm gonna come back on. I'm gonna read it tomorrow. So the whole stream is just gonna be me reading it. It's gonna just get it out there. Let the message be resonant. Finish it. Da 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 da. Yeah. Well, I just then thought maybe I'm being silly. Maybe this is redundant. Maybe this is too personal. Maybe it's silly. Maybe it's not real teachings. Maybe it's just my mental. And then I'm like, if that's true of me, then it's true of him. And clearly, that ain't true. So, here we are. Do not convince yourself of false reality. Be you. This is me. Be forever, always. Illuminati. thank you for awakening yourself and my love. Where else would you begin? What to you is the start of it? Was it before this moment, maybe? Or could it have all happened without it? I remember my first trip, and what stands out the most to me now was one very amazing moment. I was at Rothbury at the age of 17. This was 2009. I was with my boyfriend at the time, and my lover bears a resemblance that can only be considered canny because I knew him first, but focus. Just to cause a scene for your mind's eye. I sat in the forest with a guy named John, and we sat in silence for way too long, and I did nothing but stare at the wood chips and think nothing was wrong except maybe my age and I guess that guy John. We didn't make it too far out of the woods. I always wish them well. I felt comfort of someone next to me, yet it was a new unfamiliarity with the one familiar. Detachment? I had not considered. I was young. Truly, what still stands out to me, even more particularly, was my knowing. I wouldn't have really understood that at the time. I had some great teachers and references, but it wasn't until I started to read Be Here Now, Ram Dass, 1969, out loud like 14 years later, that I recognized such a knowing in my young self. And I can now see in me what everyone who ever looked at me after that has always seen, and that is some knowing that men almost twice my age spent years searching for, that I got from the first trip. If you told me I made money talking to God or dead people or high school crush, blah, 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 that I'd been some kind of a holy man, back then, I wouldn't have believed you. But now the proof arrives through the pages of a book birthed long before my own, and he described something that reminded me of what I failed to see. I have always known. A true curse and my greatest blessing. So I sat in those wood chips totally alone in a sea of thousands, and I watched them take shape, and I'd never seen beneath me. I stared in awe and wonder at this brilliant display, the people walking by, good weather, distant music. I had been really quite depressed up until that point. I was always quite rebellious as well, but I had not discovered real medicine until that moment. Because my thoughts were about, I have finally arrived. I am experiencing happiness. This is what it means to be free. I've solved it. I'm here. I finally did it. I'm happy. And being in a sea of thousands is also how I found this beloved, though less profound, of all the people around me. I found them to be absolutely be the most beautiful. So I avoided them in any way, talking or making eye contact for 16 years, until I was truly ready to see, understand, and finally fully realize such a divine moment for what it is meant to be, and the reward of resisting the fruit of a tree without the flowers, indicating that it is ready to be plucked and fully devoured by the buds of such a thirsting tongue. Enjoying the perfectly sweet serenity of goddamn everything you ever dreamed of. That is only a bit of what love is to me, but hearts nor people are fruit on trees. Over the years, I have had a slew of erratic behavioral episodes and an unhinged sort of work, social, love life. But even at the very bottom of every bottomed out I had, I always got back up because of something I didn't fully understand but definitely did know. I have hope. You see, I hadn't stayed on drugs very long. Brief periods and damn grand, but I knew I didn't need them anymore. I learned happiness was possible at all, and I made it my mission to figure out how to create, cultivate, maintain that very state of being happy, but also relieved of the other thing, without the help of anything at all. And yeah, sometimes I wish I hadn't done that, because I really needed the medicine. Now I understand the treacherous swings to be tied to my uterine cycle, premenstrual dysphoric disorder, or PMDD. It's more complicated than I care to describe because unless you have it, you'll never understand how we feel, why we feel, or what we thought. How we feel. It derives from certain things like stuff considered traumatizing, and it's unreal. Ouch. Affected me for 20 years, so it always falls. Life got away. Felt like I lost so much life to the pain, apart so much cleanup. But I dreamed still. I let it slip, though. Something I had no control over, but the madness consumed. I was scared. I really needed that medicine. But I stopped. I found something else. I didn't want to feel so socially unacceptable, but this was worse. I got sober. It hurt a lot. I needed the medicine, my God. I was pretty sure I found what I was meant to do and who I was supposed to be, but I didn't trust it because I had not yet understood my own knowing. But I knew. I wanted love and acceptance too. Tried for validation, tried to get approved, but I had to ask myself WWYD, and in time I'd realize that question is the same as what would I do, because the why is you. But also it was me, because it was me, brain, and I sort of thought since I was 19 and knew a lot, but not enough. If I proved anything, it's that I'm tough. But who wants to be tough all the time? Not me. I'm tired. I hate instilling fear in others. For a long time, I had not seen a fear that was binding others to me. I could joke about being mean or intimidating, but those people still loved me, didn't they? They didn't. Not in a real way, anyway. When I was feared, I got anything I wanted all the time with ease. Tons of friends, you know what I mean? But I didn't want to be feared. I wanted to be loved. So when I let go of the animosity that kept everybody on their toes, I found I struggled more than ever to recover. I had no idea love would be so isolating. But there I was, being vulnerable, honest and trying to be less blunt of it. It goes okay. I'm not here things that you don't already know, nor made in existence, not or isn't. I am here to show you things that have always been and you refuse to see. I am a channel of Vesely Universe. Search. I am the both worlds. Fine. There is a beauty around it that can be seen easily. The beauty is tied to something else that you understand. You have got to do your ego. You have got to do your ego. You have be nice to your ego. You have nice to your ego. Stop saying you're trying to kill. The point of life will be debated, but say this. The goal has always been on every level of evolution. Be reflected in what we do when we learn from a fellow leader is not to replicate who our leader is, but rather those teachings and follow it and interpret them own way. Your own perspective, a new wisdom. Stuff is really groovy. Not everything you will pass or ascend and masters. It may not have revelation be like a missing link. It is for you, personal masters, your personal self. Life is the story of your mind unfold. Your evolution is the goal. To kill your ego, it's God's creation. The ego is the rule. Think of biologists have categorized and labeled mind. So ego, id. We must roll over is this one. It is the luxury adapted. Just to let this one a safe distance. 4 view. I'm glitching. How long I've been glitching for? How long I've been glitching for? We're back now. Focus your energy and just listen to it. Hey. It's okay. Nobody sleeps. Look at me. Nobody sleeps. Don't worry about it. Close the door. Jack? No. Sorry, my creator dashboard into the phone. Play that forward. Damn. We're not back. Let her go.